Pause for a second. Look around you. The Earth is spinning beneath your feet at 1,670 kilometers per h-hour. The moon spins. The Sunday spins. The entire galaxy is rotating like a giant cosmic hurricane. Even atoms spin. Even subatomic particles spin. And here's the disturbing part. Nothing in the universe is still. Not rocks, not stars, not space itself. Everything is turning. So the real question isn't why some things spin. The real question is, why does everything spin? Imagine you're floating in deep space. No gravity, no sound, no up or down. You push an object. What should it do? Move in a straight line. That's what common sense says. But nature doesn't behave that way. Given the tiniest disturbance, a microscopic imbalance, motion starts to curve, and curved motion becomes rotation. This isn't coincidence. This is law. The strange pattern no one can ignore. Physicists noticed something unsettling long ago. Planets rotate in one direction. Moons orbit in the same plane. Galaxies spin like records. Even storms on Earth form spirals. Why spirals? Why circles? Why rotation instead of straight motion? If the universe were random, we should see chaos. But we don't. We see order disguised as motion. Feynman's way of looking at it, Richard Feynman didn't like memorized answers. He liked why answers. He once said that if you really understand something, you should be able to explain it simply, almost childishly. So let's ask the question the Feynman way. What is spin, really? Spin isn't just movement. Spin is stored history. It's the universe remembering how it started. Motion that refuses to die. Here's something strange. If you spin a wheel in space, it keeps spinning. Forever. No fuel. No engine. Why? Because motion doesn't disappear unless something stops it. And here's the terrifying part. There is almost nothing in the universe capable of stopping motion. Space is nearly frictionless. Once rotation begins, it becomes immortal. The smallest push changes everything. Think about a cloud of gas in space. Perfectly still, impossible. One atom moves slightly faster, another slightly slower. That tiny difference creates torque. Torque creates rotation. Rotation amplifies itself. The cloud collapses, spin speeds up, stars are born. Planets form from leftover spinning debris. Spin isn't added later. Spin is inherited. Why straight lines are a lie. Nature hates straight lines. Straight motion requires perfect balance. Perfect balance never exists. The universe is messy, and mess creates curves. Curves create rotation. Rotation creates structure. This is why galaxies aren't cubes. This is why atoms aren't static balls. This is why even time bends near massive spinning objects. Spin exists where motion shouldn't. Now here's where your brain should start hurting. Electrons spin, but electrons aren't tiny balls. They're probability clouds. So what exactly is spinning? Answer, not matter, but information. Spin is a fundamental property of reality itself. Not movement through space, but a rule baked into existence. You are part of the rotation right now. Earth spins, solar system, spins, galaxy, spins, local group, spins, space itself expands with rotation patterns. You are inside nested wheels within wheels. You are not standing still. You are riding ancient momentum from the birth of time. The uncomfortable truth. Here's the truth. Most people never hear. The universe never stopped moving after it was born. There was no cosmic break. No reset button. What began as a tiny imbalance became eternal motion. And that motion expresses itself as spin. End of chapter hook. So if spin is everywhere, if nothing can erase it, if even empty space remembers motion, then the next question becomes terrifying. What happened at the very beginning that started all this spinning? Because once rotation begins, it never forgets. Before there were stars, before atoms, before even space itself, there was something, and whatever that something was, it wasn't still. The biggest mistake we make about the Big Bang, most people imagine the Big Bang like an explosion. Boom, stuff flies outward into empty space. That picture is wrong. There was no empty space to explode into. Space itself was being created. So if nothing was flying through space, what was actually moving? Feynman would say, don't ask what, ask how instead of asking what exploded. Ask how did motion begin at all? Because motion is the real mystery. If the universe started perfectly symmetrical, perfectly balanced, perfectly still, then nothing should have happened forever. But something did happen, which means perfect stillness never existed. Symmetry is unstable. Here's a deep truth of physics. Perfect symmetry is fragile. Imagine balancing a pencil on its tip, perfectly upright. In theory, yes. In reality, it falls. Why? Because absolute balance is impossible. One vibration, one quantum fluctuation, one whisper of imbalance, and the system collapses into motion. Quantum fluctuations, the first disturbance at the very beginning. The universe was insanely small. So small that quantum rules dominated everything. And quantum physics has a rule that sounds insane, but is absolutely real. Nothing can ever be completely motionless. Even empty space vibrates. Even nothing has energy. So the early universe could not be still, even if it wanted to be. The birth of rotation. Now here's the key idea most people miss. Expansion plus imbalance equals rotation. When something expands unevenly, different parts move at slightly different speeds. That difference creates angular momentum. Angular momentum is rotation. Once it exists, it must be conserved. The universe had no choice. Conservation of angular momentum, the unbreakable rule. This is one of the most sacred laws in physics. Angular momentum cannot be destroyed. It can be transferred. It can be redistributed, but it cannot vanish. So if the early universe had any rotation at all, even the tiniest whisper, that rotation is still with us today. You are literally feeling it right now. Why expansion didn't kill the spin, you might think. If the universe expanded, shouldn't rotation fade away? Number, it does the opposite. Just like a spinning ice skater. Arms out 20, slow spin arms in 20 fast spin. As matter collapsed under gravity, rotation intensified. Clouds became stars. Stars formed disks. Disks formed planets. All from the same ancient spin. Evidence written across the sky. Look at the universe carefully. Most galaxies rotate planetary systems, form flat disks, moons orbit in aligned directions. Even black holes spin. This isn't coincidence. It's inheritance. The universe is passing down momentum like a family heirloom. Black holes frozen spin from the beginning of time. Black holes are extreme. They trap everything, light, matter, even time. But guess what they cannot trap? Angular momentum. Black holes spin violently. Some drag space, time around them like a whirlpool. That spin didn't start at the black hole. It came from before the star, before the galaxy, before almost everything. Spin before matter. Here's the mind. Bending part, spin existed before particles, before electrons, before quarks. Spin is not caused by matter. Matter inherits spin. This suggests something profound. Rotation is more fundamental than stuff. Motion came first. Structure followed. Time itself joined the spin. Einstein showed that space and time are connected. If space rotates, time twists with it. This is why spinning massive objects affect clocks. The universe isn't just spinning in space. It's spinning through time. Feynman's silent insight. Feynman rarely spoke poetically, but his thinking leads here. Physics doesn't describe why the universe exists. It describes how it remembers. Spin is memory. The universe remembers its beginning, not with images, but with motion. Why this matters to you, you might think this is abstract. It's not. Your atoms formed in spinning stars. Your planet formed in a spinning disk. Your blood circulates in spirals. Your DNA coils. You're a biological echo of the Big Bang's rotation. The uncomfortable possibility, some physicists suspect something even deeper, that the universe may have global rotation. Not just local spins, but a cosmic axis. If true, there may be a preferred direction in reality itself, a cosmic grain, and that would change everything we think we know. End of chapter hook. So the universe didn't start spinning later. It was never not spinning. Which raises the next unavoidable question. Why can't spin ever disappear, no matter what happens? Because the answer reveals one of the most ruthless laws of nature. If you understand this one rule, you understand why the universe looks the way it does. Not metaphorically, literally. The law that never apologizes, physics, has many laws. Some are flexible, some have exceptions, some break down at extremes. But angular momentum, it doesn't negotiate. Angular momentum is conserved, always. No loopholes, no special cases, no mercy. What angular momentum really is. No math, forget equations. Think intuition. Angular momentum is motion wrapped around itself. Straight motion equals simple. Rotational motion equals stubborn. Why? Because to stop rotation, you don't just stop movement. You must cancel direction, speed, and orientation all at once. That's incredibly hard. The ice skater trick, but deeper, you've seen this before. The skater spins with arms out, doing his slow. pulls arms and funny fast. What changed? Not momentum. Distribution changed. The spin adjusted to conserve the total. This is the universe's favorite trick. Why the universe loves disks, ever notice something? Galaxies, fun to flat disks. Solar systems, flat disks. Accretion disks. Accretion disks, everywhere, why not spheres? Because rotation flattens system. Angular momentum forces matter outward, sideways. Gravity pulls inward. Spin pulls outward. The compromise is a disk. Nature doesn't choose disks. It's forced into them. Why spin speeds up when things shrink? Here's a rule that feels backwards. The smaller something gets, the faster it spins. Stars collapse, spin. Faster planets form. Spin faster, black holes. Spin faster. Black holes spin insanely fast. This isn't acceleration, it's conservation reacting to compression. Black holes, when the rule gets extreme, a black hole is matter. Crushed almost to nothing. So what happens to angular momentum? It explodes in intensity. Some black holes spin at nearly the speed of light. They drag space-time itself. This effect is called frame dragging. The universe literally gets twisted. And even then, angular momentum survives. You cannot destroy spin. Only try to stop a spinning wheel in space. You push it, what happens? The spin transfers to you. You rotate backward. Momentum doesn't vanish. It moves. The universe keeps perfect bookkeeping. Every rotation is accounted for d4 spin. At the smallest scale now it gets weird. Particles have spin, but they're not spinning balls. Spin is intrinsic, built in. It's like saying, this particle is rotation. You can't turn it off. Spin is not optional. Why this shocked physicist, classical physics, couldn't explain this. How can something with no size rotate? Answer, it's not rotating in space. It's rotating in state. Spin is a property of reality's structure, not geometry. Feynman's hidden lesson. Feynman taught students to stop asking, what force causes this? And start asking, what is conserved? Because conserved quantities reveal what nature refuses to lose. Energy, momentum charge, spin. These are sacred. Chaos cannot kill angular momentum explosions. Don't erase spin. Collisions don't erase spin. Even supernovae. Some of the most violent events imaginable. Redistribute rotation rather than destroy it. The universe may look chaotic, but underneath perfect accounting. Why planets keep spinning for billions of years, Earth forms spinning. Why hasn't it stopped? Because space offers almost no friction, no air, no ground, nothing to break against. So Earth keeps turning, day after day, eon after eon. Life rides on conservation without angular momentum. No stable orbits, no planets, no seasons, no climate, no life spin. Keep systems stable. Too little trying to collapse. Too much, starting to fly apart. Life exists in the narrow balance. What if this law didn't exist? Imagine a universe where spin could vanish. Stars would collapse randomly. Planets would fall inward. Atoms would unravel. Structure would not persist. Reality would melt. The terrifying beauty of it, the universe doesn't try to be orderly. Order emerges because certain things cannot change. Angular momentum is one of them. It's not preference. It's inevitability. End of chapter hook. So now we know. Spin started early. Spin cannot be destroyed. Spin shapes structure. But here's the next shock. The same rule governs atoms, hurricanes, stars, and galaxies. How can one law rule everything? Here's a question that should make you uncomfortable. Why does a galaxy look like a hurricane, and a hurricane look like an atom? Different sizes, different forces, different materials. Samey shape, samey spin. The most disturbing pattern in nature physics usually changes with scale. Quantum rules for atoms, classical rules for baseballs, relativity for stars. But rotation. Rotation doesn't care about size. The same logic applies whether you're talking about an electron, a spinning top of planet, to galaxy cluster. That shouldn't happen, but it does. Spin, where size doesn't exist, electrons have spin. But electrons aren't little balls. They don't have edges. They don't have surfaces. So what is spinning, answerer? The state of the particle. Spin is not motion through space. It's orientation within reality. This tells us something shocking. Rotation is deeper than geometry. Why magnetic fields? Frozen rotation. Why does a spinning electron create magnetism? Because magnetism is rotation that leaked into space. Electricity is motion. Magnetism is circular motion. No spin, no magnetism, no magnetism. No motors, no stars, no life, storms, galaxies, and the same math look at a hurricane. It spins because pressure differences, rotation of Earth, conservation of angular momentum. Now look at a galaxy. It spins because gravity differences, initial motion, conservation of angular momentum, different causes. Same result. Heat, nature reuses its rules. Physics is lazy. Once a rule works, it gets reused. The universe doesn't invent new laws for bigger things. It scales them up. Why spirals keep appearing? Spirals are rotation plus flow. Matter falls inward. Spin pushes sideways. The compromise creates a spiral. That's why we see spirals in seashells, DNA, hurricanes, galaxies. It's not aesthetic. It's mechanical. She-galaxies, atoms of the cosmos galaxies, behave like giant atoms. They have central mass nucleus. Like orbiting structures, quantized rotation patterns. Some physicists suspect this isn't coincidence. Maybe structure itself prefers rotation. Life copies the pattern. DNA is a double helix. Why not straight ladders? Because twisting increases stability. Spin distributes stress. Life discovered what physics already knew. We scale invariance. The same truth everywhere. This is called scale invariance. The equations don't care about size. Change the units. The logic survives. That suggests something radical. The universe is self-similar, not identical, but rhyming. Feynman's way of thinking, Feynman loved this idea, that nature isn't complicated. We just look at it from the wrong angle. When you understand one level deeply, all other levels start to make sense. You are a rotational system, your heart pumps in a spiral. Blood flows in vortices, your inner ear detects rotation. Your brain neurons fire in loops. You are not a static object. You are organized motion. The same law governs everything you've ever seen. Atoms don't know about galaxies. Galaxies don't know about atoms. Yet both obey the same rotational logic. This suggests the universe is not built from things, but from processes. The uncomfortable question, if the same rule governs everything, then what we call objects might just be stable whirlpools, temporary knots in motion, which means nothing truly stands still, not even identity. End of chapter hook. So spin rules atoms. Spin rules galaxies. Then the final shock is this. You are spinning right now, even if you feel perfectly still. And the reason why will change how you think about yourself. Right now you feel still. You're sitting, reading, not moving. That feeling is an illusion, because at this exact moment, you're spinning in at least 5 different ways. Spin number 1, Earth's rotation. The ground beneath you is rotating at insane speed. At the equator, 1,670 kilometers per h. You don't feel it because motion feels normal when it's smooth. There's no wind screaming past you because the air spins with Earth. Stillness is shared motion. High spin number 2. Orbit around the Sunday Earth isn't just spinning. It's racing around the Sunday at 107,000 kilometers per h every year. You trace a giant circle through space. You never repeat the same location twice. Spin number 3. Solar system orbiting the galaxy, the Sunday. Carrying you. Orbits the Milky Way. Speed 828,000 kilometers per h1 galactic year. Equals 230 million Earth years. Dinosaurs never completed one orbit. Spin number 4. Galaxy, moving through the cosmic web. The Milky Way itself is moving, pulled by massive structures you can't see. Towards something called the Great Attractor, you are being dragged by invisible gravity. Spin number 5. Atomic and subatomic spin inside your body. Electrons spin, nuclei spin, quarks. Spin your solidity comes from rotational quantum states. No spin footy, no chemistry, sorti. No life fine. Why you don't feel any of this motion only feels like motion when it changes. Constant velocity feels like rest. Feynman loved this idea. There is no experiment you can do in a closed room to tell if you're moving at constant speed. Stillness is relative. The carousel of reality, if the universe stopped spinning, you wouldn't fall, you wouldn't fly. You wouldn't exist because your structure depends on conserved rotation. Your body uses spin, blood doesn't flow straight, it spirals. This reduces energy loss and damage. Your heart is a rotational pump. Nature rediscovered fluid dynamics inside you. Or DNA, a spinning instruction manual. DNA twists because twisting protects information. Straight strands break easily. Helices distribute stress. Spin preserves information. Consciousness and loops, your brain works in feedback loops. Thoughts circle back on themselves. Memory is not linear. Its rotational understanding itself may require loops. You are not a passenger. You are not on the spinning Earth. You are part of the rotation. Your atoms form from spinning stars. Your momentum traces back billions of years. The existential shock, if you are defined by motion, then you are not a thing. You are a process. A pattern of conserved rotation temporarily holding shape. End of chapter hook, so spin defines the universe. Spin defines matter. Spin defines you. Then the next question is unavoidable. Did someone like Feynman see this connection clearly? Because the next chapter reveals the deepest insight of all. Motion is memory. Richard Feynman didn't believe the universe was poetic, but the deeper you follow his way of thinking, the more poetic it becomes. What happened stays happened. Feynman often emphasized one simple idea. Physics doesn't care about stories. It cares about what is conserved, and conserved quantities are memory. Energy remembers work. Charge remembers imbalance. Angular momentum remembers motion. The universe keeps receipts. Why spin is a record of the past when something spins. It carries information about how it formed, how it was disturbed, what forces acted on it. Spin is not random. It's historical. Every rotating system is a fossil of its own creation. Galaxies as time capsules. A galaxy's rotation tells us how matter collapsed, how turbulence evolved, what the early universe was like. Astronomers don't just look at stars. They read motion. Time doesn't erase. It redistributes. Time feels like erasure. But physics says otherwise. Nothing is forgotten. It's transformed. Spin spreads. Energy dissipates. But conservation remains quantum memory. Even particles remember. An electron's spin orientation affects how it interacts. Measure it once. The system changes, information is preserved. Not destroyed Feynman diagrams, motion frozen on paper Feynman diagrams. Don't show objects. They show interactions. They're memory maps. Events connected by conserved quantities. SID turbulence, memory and chaos turbulence. Memory and chaos turbulence systems look random. But hidden inside is conserved rotation. Vortices persist. Even chaos remembers where it came from. You are a memory machine. Your body is a library of conserved processes. Every cell inherits rotational chemistry from stars. You are made of remembered motion. The radical conclusion: if motion is memory, then the universe is not forgetting its past. It is living it, right now. End of chapter hook. So if spin is memory, then the final question becomes terrifying. What if spin ever disappeared? What kind of universe would that be? This is the dark thought experiment. No equations, no comfort, just logic. Time chapter 7. What would a non-spinning universe look like? Approximate 9,500 words, unsettling, cinematic to understand something deeply. You imagine its absence. So let's do the unthinkable. Let's imagine a universe with no spin. First rule: nothing can orbit. No angular momentum means no stable orbits. Planets can't circle stars. Moons can't circle planets. Electrons can't circle nuclei. Everything falls straight in or flies straight out. No balance. Earth would die instantly without spin. Earth collapses toward the Sunday atmosphere, drains away oceans, spill into space, or vaporize. Day and night vanish. Climate collapses. Atoms would unravel. Electron spin is essential. Without it, no stable atomic shells, no chemistry, no molecules. Matter becomes meaningless. Shooty gravity becomes a guillotine. Gravity without angular momentum is brutal. Everything collapses directly. Stars implode. No disks, no stars like ours. Only catastrophic collapse. Shooty, no structure. Only pileups. Galaxies need rotation to stay spread out. Without spin, matter clumps instantly. Black holes dominate. Space empties. Elsewhere, the universe becomes uneven and dead. Life becomes impossible. Life requires stable molecules. Repeating cycles flow without collapse. Spin-enabled cycles. No spin-tween, no repetition. Sudi, no life. Thought cannot exist. Neural activity relies on loops. Feedback, reverberation. A non-spinning universe cannot support minds. So time loses meaning. Without rotation, there are no cycles. No days, no years, no rhythms. Time becomes a one-way fall. A silent, short-lived universe. No stars shining long enough. No planets surviving. No memory, just collapse. End of chapter hook. So spin is not decoration. It is permission to exist. Which brings us to the final truth. Why a spinning universe is not just beautiful, but inevitable.